Hello. What's up? Welcome to the weekly wrap. Genwill's in, Reeves is in. Oh yeah, don't call my name. Definitely. Put him on the thumbnail. It's there. Reeves wasn't there for the watch along I did the Liverpool game, but he's here. How's everyone doing? Big week to talk about. I think Reeves is just here to pay out. Big man. We got some big things to get into. Dr. Laz is in as well. And I'm sure he can give us a Rob's red card for the week too. Sure he's got it ready. How's everyone doing? We all well? Reeves, Dr. Laz. That's the first game. Obviously, huge week. Man United beat Everton 3-0, but I've got a lot to say about that game. We're going to talk about that. City, Liverpool drawing. I think City will be upset that they drew that game. What else? Tottenham. Put it in the thing in the title. Have the wheels fallen off? I don't know. Listen, I actually predicted they would have lost all these games that they did once they got the injuries, and they got City next week. And then I checked the fixtures. They got City next week, and then they've got West Ham at home and then Newcastle away. So Ange will be wanting to get some players back big time, but we'll talk about that when that game comes up. Let's get the results up so we can look at it. We'll start with that first one, the results. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1. Listen, I thought City dominated the game. They were going down Doku's side all night because they knew he had the beating of Trent, and Foden on the other side was doing nothing. So they were pushing him. By myself tonight, man. Next week, probably be me and Rob if he's free. Week after that, I think John's back. Yeah. Like to cycle it. How you doing, Genwell? Haven't seen you for a while. How are you? Yeah. Back to what I was saying. Yeah, I think City will be upset they didn't win it and that they gave that goal away. In saying that, that was probably the worst game I've seen Alisson play. But he has those games. Out of nowhere, you have 10 months good, then he has this one shocking game, and it was a bad game, man. He played shocking. The kick to the goal, and then I think he should have saved it, and I think he's done his hamstring now as well, so don't know how long he's out for. But could that come back and bite Liverpool? I don't know. Typical Pep, one strategy. Didn't change. Missed chances, you reap what you sow. There you go. Good point there by Dr. Laz. And he is the resident Man City fan of HFD. So, but what struck me the most was he didn't make a sub. It wasn't about changing the tactics. Like what he was doing, it was working. Okay, they maybe should have scored more goals. But he didn't make a sub. I mean, yeah, and Rob said, maybe he's saving him for Champions League, but he's top of that group already. So I think he should have made a sub. Like, not making a sub is, no goals equals not working. True. Yeah, I know what you mean. But that doesn't happen often for City, I guess. But the thing is, he's playing, let's say if it's not working with Haaland, he had Alvarez on the bench last year to bring him on and change things. This year, he's playing them both because he's playing him in the Kevin De Bruyne role, Alvarez. So he doesn't... Does he have another striker to bring off the bench? When you actually look at their squad, it's so big. But does he have another out-and-out striker to bring on for Haaland to get you a goal? I don't think he does, looking at that squad. Not too bad, considering half their squad were injured and then suddenly were fit. That's funny. I could only stay up until half-time. There you go. But, listen, it was an interesting game. And Rob made a good point when we were watching it. Why did they make an early kickoff game in the Premier League after an international break? Why have a 12:30 kickoff in the English Premier League after an international break? Makes no sense to me. I think you're asking to injure players for one, and yeah, you're asking for not as a good quality game, really. So I think the Premier League got that. So those South American players would have been, yeah, exactly. And then let's say Allison ends up doing a hammy. Is that because it's been on? They always say, when you're on the plane and that, your muscles, you're more susceptible to doing those injuries. Does he do a hamstring because of that? You know what I mean? And the marquee game is meant to be Monday, isn't it? I don't get why they did it then. Yeah, I don't mind the 12:30 kickoff, but give it to the teams that don't have every single one of their players are internationals, especially, Palace, Burnley, etc. Not like the marquee game of the week, City, Liverpool, the top two teams. Don't give it to the top two teams. Every single one of their players is going to be an international. So silly by the FA. I don't know who came up with that, but silly idea. But listen, I think Liverpool will be the happier of the two after that game because they got the points away from home or got, share of the points away from home. They stay third now because Arsenal go top. They stay up there. They stay still in contention. They get to play City at home next time where, everyone will be behind them. I think they'll be the happier of the teams. But yeah, going on to the later games that night. Let's start with that. So Arsenal went to Brentford. They win 1-0. I mean, to be honest, I only watched all the replays of all these, because I couldn't stay up after the Liverpool game. They were very late. Excuse me, but I think Arsenal will be real happy they got the points. They went to Brentford. It's always a hard game there. We saw them against Man United. They were 2-0 up. Man United scored 3 goals late to win that. Or 1-0 up, whatever it was. But they beat Chelsea at Chelsea. They're a hard team to come up against. So I think Arsenal will be happy they get the points away. Kai Havertz, don't really rate him, but he got the job done for Mikel. Mikel Arteta will say that's a bit of justification, vindication for his, buying him and selecting him, etc. But listen, I don't think they can win the title. I think they missed their chance last year. But they're up there, and I want United. I don't think can win the title. So Arsenal, out of all of them, will be the one for me that I'd want to win it. But I don't think they can. Agree again. Will not say for players. Even Nunes was ordinary when he's firing for Uruguay. Exactly. I mean, guess not anybody scores against Brentford by more than 2. Yeah, exactly. They're very hard to break down. So I think United United beat them 2-1. They don't really concede a lot of goals. They're very good defensive team. And they're pretty. They're dangerous. Even without Tony at the moment, they got Mbuemo, who has been getting the goals. I think Arsenal will be real happy with that result, but that can take us on. Beat City and beat Chelsea, Brentford. So they can bring us on to the next one. The next one we'll talk about, which is massive. I think it'll worry Pochettino. Is Chelsea get done 4-1 by Newcastle, and he even said it himself. They capitulated. They were 4-1. I know it's away, but when the game was in the balance, I think it was 1-1. To just cop it like that, Pochettino's got work to do. As we know, he's got work to do. I don't know what it is. I think he needs some toughness in that team. He's got... Yeah, he is the media's darling a little bit, yeah. Oh, listen, he's a good coach. Got nothing against him. He's got a lot of work to do. Because what I think about the team is it's, barring Thiago Silva, it's everyone, they're kids. Look at their team. They've got the defense. They're playing, Reece James is a bit older, Reece James, Silva. So they're 2 experienced players. And they got, whoever they play at the back, Cucurella is young. Colwell, Badashil, whoever plays with Silva is young centre-backs. And they got Gallagher Enzo, Casido. Regardless of, how good Casido and that Enzo won a World Cup, whatever, there's still 3 of them are kids. Then they got Cole Palmer, Nicholas Jackson, kids. And then they got Sterling, who is, he's an experienced player, but, like Rob was saying, he's a bit hit and miss, but I just think he can't do it all himself. He's actually had a real good year, I think, for them, but, like they got 3 experienced players really in the whole team when you think about it. Poch cancelled the players' days off. Players' day off. Players not listening to him. There you go. Reece James sent off. Yeah, that's what I mean. They lose their captain, and he's probably their best player, really. Reece James, when you think about it. Mudryk not utilised properly. Nicholas Jackson, that comes from nowhere, is asked to become. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he's asked to become their leading goal scorer, and that's what I mean. He's a kid. Like I said, he's a kid. Cole Palmer's a kid. I mean, they're pumping him up because he's a young English player, as they do over there, but he's a child. Conor Gallagher's a kid. Fernandes won a World Cup, but he's 20. Casido played good for Brighton, but that's one good year. Look what happened with Bissouma. He had a killer year. Then he went to Tottenham. He's only finding his feet now. Yeah, I think he's good too, Rob. I agree he's good, but he's young. All the pressure's on him. It's like Højlund at Man United, really. It's young. Put all the pressure on their shoulders. And then, you got Silva, who's experienced, but like Colwell, Badashil, they're all kids. Hi, KP and everyone in the live chat tonight. Hey, Zakal, how are you? Hope you're well, man. Remember, guys, please like, share, subscribe. But yeah, Poch cannot be happy about that, Cannot be happy about that at all. One moment, just have a drink of this. Let's go to the next ones. This one is, this one is, I think, is a sign that, when a team is going down. And I think even Vincent Kompany said it's so hard to take, but Burnley losing to West Ham at home 2-1. I think they were 1-0 up in the 80th minute or something. So, with that, you'd be thinking, we're at home, we're going to take this, start getting a bit of momentum. And then they can see 2 goals. And I watched the second one. James Ward-Prowse took a corner. It got cleared. They had time to get back. Just didn't get back in time. Ball gets put back in. They concede. And I think that's a real sign of a team. It's that that team is going down. I think Burnley are done. Unless they sack Vincent, which, would be such a shame if they sack him because he got them up, with record points last year. I just don't think he has the players to play that formation in the Premier League. Get away with it in the Championship, but not in the Premier League. Guy says Garnacho with a love heart. Absolutely. We've said it before, Burnley are just awful. Exactly. Spurs have no wheels left. Not just wheels have fallen off. This guy says they have no wheels left. There you go. Vertonghen had a man of the match performance in Belgium this weekend. Company Vertonghen. Yeah, they were good partnership together. Damn Spurs. Going to use e-scooters. But yeah, we'll get on to them. It's, don't worry, we'll definitely get on to that. But yeah, I think Burnley are done. Unless they sack Vincent and get someone in that just knows how to keep a team up. A la David Moyes, those type of guys. Sam Allardyce. But are they even around anymore? I don't know. But I think maybe that's what they need. Just go back. Even the thing is, I think Vincent Kompany can do it. Just go back to the wall. Say, listen, I know this is my philosophy, is this attacking football, possession, etc., etc. But at the moment, with what we've got, we're going to go with this pragmatic style to keep us up. And I think the players will respect that, and the supporters will respect that. The club might respect it, and they might start getting points. Just say, listen, maybe get us some. If you can we can spend some money in the, I don't know, in the summer, whenever it is, and then we can go back to a bit more about my philosophy. But for now, we're just going to back to the walls, pragmatic, try to get some points on the board. Big Sam, and Reborn's laughing, Big Sam, but you know what I mean, one of those type, that's why I said a la Moyes, but they're not even there anymore, and I don't think it's such a thing anymore. These guys used to be renowned for not getting relegated, but then Big Sam got relegated. Moyes got relegated with Sunderland, like Pulis, Sean Dyche, like, you know, they they've they've shown that it doesn't go forever, you know, like no one is immune to getting relegated unless you're like a Sir Alex or a Pep or Klopp or something, you know what I mean? Hello people, hurricane coming through. You mean like the weather? It is going to be bad weather tomorrow, yeah. It is. But yeah, that'll take us on to the next one. You know, I think, like I said, I think Burnley are done. Unless they do something. I don't see why Vincent Kompany can't be the one to do that. Why do they have to sack him? Just say, like I said, you know, the points I said. But yeah, who knows? That can bring us to Luton 2, Crystal Palace 1. Like Rob just said, yeah, like Luton versus Crystal Palace, exactly. Like, you know, just try and get the points. Like, you don't always have to play pretty football to get it. You know, like I remember a certain Jose Mourinho having 17% possession in the Champions League final, and he's the one holding the medal at the end, not the Barcelona players that had 70% possession, you know what I mean? Crystal Palace were all over them, yeah. But that, like you've said it before as well, Rob, it doesn't mean anything. Like I said, that Champions League, it doesn't mean nothing. They can have all the possession or nothing, but we're going to talk about that with United. It's, you know, in the end, it doesn't mean nothing if you don't do anything with it. I'm upset about Spurs. However, we will return to glory soon. Don't want to break it to you, man, but I don't think Spurs have ever had glory. Nah, listen, Andrew get them going again, but they got a tough couple of weeks. I think they may lose 5 in a row before they get another win. But we'll talk about that soon. But yeah, Luton, great to see Luton get a win. Man, if Luton can stay up, I love that, you know. It would be so good for them, see Luton stay. Imagine Luton and Bournemouth are both up in the Premier League. It'd be crazy. That brings us on to this one. Brighton end up getting the win 3-2 at Nottingham Forest. Listen, they got the points, but, you know, I think what's showing with Brighton is showing with a lot of these teams is they're struggling because of the European football. They're not used to it. Brighton don't have the squad for it. I don't think they're used to it. And, you know, they're like off the pace. They were better, you know, but then again, have we just amped them up too much as a fan base, as media? You know, like they talk about them like these guys are an Ajax team from 1974 or like Man United 99. Like they go on about Brighton and De Zerbi like he is the best coach that ever lived. But in the end, you know, okay, plays good football and that. But, you know, I think maybe we just amped them up too much. You know what I mean? Nottingham Forest scored first, but Brighton did fight. But yeah, they did. They did. Correct, Red. Lewis Dunk. I'd have to go back and watch it again, man. It's hard to remember. Might have to go back and watch them. Guy says, can't believe we are 6 points off the top. Yeah, cannot believe that either. Yeah, Chris, 2037, maybe. If CM Punk can return, so can the Spurs. Yeah, but CM Punk has won titles. Spurs haven't. Genwell, you're back. A bit soft for me, Genwell, Rob says. There you go. A lot of the decisions are soft. The refs have got no idea. But yeah, Brighton get the win. Genwell says hello to Chris. Genwell is back. I'm sure he'll be back from now on. He's a nice guy. Bournemouth. You know what? I tipped Sheffield United because they were home. But Bournemouth, 3-1. I mean, they're doing all right, Bournemouth. You know, can they stay up? I don't know. Where are they on the table now? I'm just going to bring up the table 1 second. Like, that's a great win for them. 3-1 away from home. Doesn't matter who it's against. It's a huge win. You know, Bournemouth gives them... They're on 12 points now. Luton are on 9. So they're already got a bit of a gap. You know, the relegation zone is Burnley 4, Everton 4 now with that 10 points deduction like we'll talk about. Sheffield United 5. So they're, for whatever reasons, they're out of the relegation, Bournemouth and Luton. But, you know, they're 7 points away from being in the relegation zone, Bournemouth. So, because Sheffield United have only got 5 points, and that's who they beat. It's like a traditional 6-pointer, that game. Huge win for Bournemouth when you actually think about it. That's an absolutely massive win because of who it was against. So yeah, that's massive. Bournemouth are getting everything out of their players. Great win. Yeah, composed finish by Ferguson as well. Yeah, for Brighton. He's a great young player. But you know what? I don't want to hear any of this. All this media and all these people over there, they're comparing Evan Ferguson. Listen, great player. But I do not want to hear the blasphemy that all these people, they're comparing him to Wayne Rooney. Mate, Wayne Rooney was doing more than him at 16 than he's doing, and he's 19, 20, I think. Please. What was Rooney doing at 20? Tell me that. These guys comparing him to Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney is a generational talent. One of the all-time greats. Let Evan Ferguson have his career before you compare him to someone like that, please. Because, you know, I don't think there's been many better players at 19. I'm not saying he's the best ever, but I don't think there's been many better players at 19 than Wayne Rooney. I think maybe Brazilian Ronaldo, Mbappe was good at that age. You know, I don't even think Messi and Ronaldo were as good as him at 19. At 19, he was unbelievable. He was, you know, he carried England in a Euro, and then he broke his foot. I think if Rooney didn't break his foot at 18 in that Euro, they would have won that Euro, England. That's, yeah. I'm with Rob, really, comparing to Rooney. What the fuck? No, he's not even close. Haven't heard of that. They're doing it everywhere, all of them. CR7 scored 13 goals in 15 games for Man United. Jude Bellingham just beat the 14 goals in 15 games. CR7 now seeking therapy. For Real Madrid, you mean? Yeah. Listen, he's had a great career, Ronaldo. No one can take anything of that away from Man United treble. We'll get on to United next. Don't worry about that. But yeah, great win for Bournemouth. Let's go. On to the next day. We will talk about the game first. I tipped Villa. They beat Spurs at Spurs. We touched on this. The minute they lost to Chelsea and got all those suspensions and those injuries, I think all of us said it. Me, John, Rob. The only one that wasn't saying it was Chris. Reeves was saying it. I said this. I said if they lose if they lose one of Maddison, Son, Mickey van de Ven, I said they're done. And then they lost Maddison, Mickey van de Ven, Basuma, Romero. They lost them all together. So, you know, that has hurt them. So they've lost 3 games in a row now. After not losing for 10 games, they got Man City next week, which I actually think that they're going to get done. Like, it's going to be, I think it could actually be like, you know, 3+. Like, it's going to be a big result. I don't want it to be. I'd love it if Tottenham get up against City and win. I feel a bit sorry for Ange. I hope he can come back and do something. He isn't even close levels to be compared to his fellow countryman. And Robbie Keane, yeah. Guy's been eating baby formula again. No. Treble, yeah. We can. Why not? Not yet. There's potential. Don't worry, we'll beat Man City in a shock upset, Chris C says. 100% Dragon. John says about the baby formula. Pinch yourself, Chris, you're dreaming. Davies and Emerson. Yeah, see, I was saying this to John before. So he started the game with 4 fullbacks in defence. So he had Ben Davies, Emerson Royale, Udogi, and Pedro Porro. 4 fullbacks. If he plays 4 fullbacks, because he has to, not by choice, against Haaland, Doku, whoever else he picks, Grealish, whatever, they're in trouble. And the midfield, he's got no Basuma, Maddison. You know, the midfield he played on the weekend up against David Silva, Alvarez, all those guys. I don't think he's injured, Rob. He just played him last game and Postecoglou's not happy with him. Just like he's got the balls to drop him, not like Ten Hag with Maguire, you know, if he's shit. That's the thing. So at least Postecoglou's dropping him because he's crap, I think. But yeah. Chris says Sunday's game, so plenty of time after UCL game. Yeah, true. Don't get me wrong, Dyer is class crap. He is. Yeah, he is. He is. That's that thing. I don't think he just doesn't rate him. So, yeah, I don't know what it is. Got to aim high, Ribs. Listen, you do, but got to be realistic as well. They got West Ham the week after, which I think they can win, even with the injuries. Now I think they can get something out of that. But then they got Newcastle away the week after that, which is another tough game. Is that, he could have 4, even 5 losses out of 5. I hope for Ange he doesn't, but who knows? You just don't know. It's going to be real hard for them. But yeah, Villa, as we've all been saying on here, Villa are really good. He's playing 4-4-2, Unai Emery, and Tielemans come on, set up the winner. Watkins scores again. Pau Torres scored there was a great cross, great centre-back's goal. But yeah, Villa, Chrissy, do a HFD Media Texan Burger Deluxe food review during the Spurs City game to distract you from the 5-0 win City will enjoy. You burnt too quickly at the start. Villa now 4th. Yeah, exactly. I want to do the Texan Bacon Deluxe because Bacon Deluxe is my favourite burger. So I want to do that. But I believe on Wednesday we are doing the McRib, I think. Chris said he'll let me know. Could be the McRib, could be the Deluxe. I'm not sure. But we'll be doing another review on Wednesday that will hopefully come out quick as did the last one. But that takes us on to the next game that I have a lot to say about. Man United winning 3-0 at Goodison. Great result for Man United. 3-0. I put it in the thumbnail. Genwell said it earlier. Alejandro. I'm going to put a poll up here. For anyone that knows, you know. Just going to put this poll up here. He scored one of the great Premier League goals, man. Like for a 19-year-old to score that goal, huge goal. Was Garnacho's scissor kick better than Rooney's? Let's have a look there. Let's see what everyone thinks. I don't think it was personally better than Rooney's. Rooney's took a deflection, and in the context, Rooney's was against Man City, who were the number 1 rivals at the time. Garnacho's was still a cracker goal, but was against a relegation fodder team. So, yeah, that's me personally. I don't think it was better, but listen, it's up there as one of the greats. It's a cracker goal. Like, how high is this kid's ceiling? I don't know. He's already an Argentinian international. He's played with Ronaldo. He's played with Messi. Yeah, he's got such a ceiling. I agree. Rooney's, I think, was better. I said this to John because when Nani crossed it, it took a deflection. He had to adjust. It was split second, regardless if you say it's a shinner or not. That's what he wanted to do. It was harder. It was harder to do. So yeah. Man United first shot on goal, 5 minutes, second shot on goal, 55 minutes, but they look at the scoreboard, Mourinho will be proud. Was it great? Really just been deducted 10 points. Oh, this is what I'm touching on. Listen, one of the great Premier League goals, I said that, but when you're beating a team that's in relegation, I said this to John before, they had 29 shots. Man United had 9. If Everton could finish, we're not winning that game. And I know that. I'm so happy we won. I want us to continue to win every game. But I said this to John earlier. Something about Ten Hag isn't sitting right with me at the moment. I don't understand. And please, in the chat, tell me your... I agree with that too. Again, they had been in pretty good form, but they were still down there anyway. I don't know what's going on with Ten Hag. Listen, I'll tell you, I'll put these things out to you. 29 shots to 9 for one. They had more possession than us in the end. We started off, we had 70% possession, then it ended up being 51% to them, which is nothing. Luke Shaw back is a positive. But Erik Ten Hag buys Amrabat. And listen, I'm not the biggest fan of him. John said the same thing. Not the biggest fan of him. But he buys a centre midfielder and he's still playing Scott McTominay, who we saw the other week in a 90-minute match got 9 passes. The guy's terrible. And he's still playing him. Reeks of things Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was doing. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signed Donny van de Beek, kept playing McTominay, kept playing Maguire and Lindelof, and he got the sack. So it reeks of that. He is picking a guy that he stripped of the captaincy, didn't give him any game time last year in Harry Maguire. Like, I've got nothing against him, but he stripped him of the captaincy, and he's all of a sudden picking him over a World Cup winner, a European Championship winner, a 4-time Champions League winner in Raphael Varane, who has been one of the best defenders in the world for the last decade. In no world is Lindelof, Maguire, or Evans ever at any time in their careers better than him, but he's selecting them all ahead of him, putting him on the bench. That mind boggles me. The McTominay thing with Amrabat mind boggles me. Why are you buying players if you don't want them? So he has to answer for that, I think. And I really fear if Everton can have 29 shots, we got Newcastle away next, then we got Chelsea at home, and then we got Liverpool away. And I said to John, if he selects that same team against Newcastle, Chelsea, Liverpool, whatever, we're going to cop it somewhere. And I fear Liverpool going to, if he plays Maguire, Lindelof, McTominay against Liverpool, we're in for it again. And I mean, 7-0 was really bad. I'm not going to say it, but they're going to, and I think he could get himself sacked. If he gets a slacking from Liverpool again, I don't think he survives that. And if he keeps selecting that team, like John said to me, maybe Varane's gone. I think Ten Hag could be gone before there's a transfer window if he keeps selecting this team. Even though we've won these games, I put it into context for John today. He goes, yeah, but we've won, technically the most informed team, but we beat Luton 1-0, Fulham 1-0. These are all relegation battlers. Sheffield United 1-0. What was the other one? Burnley 1-0. So these 3 of them are in the bottom 3. Everton, who were a relegation battler. Nottingham Forest, mid-table team, and Brentford, mid-table team. So, when we played real teams, Man City, we got spanked. We played Brighton at home, we got spanked. Listen, if he doesn't start selecting a proper team, Reeves, I believe it will happen. That's the problem. And I worry for him. But I don't know, like I said, I don't know what you guys think on what I just said. As a manager, he went and bought Amrabat. And I don't really like him. I've said that. John said it as well. But he bought him. So why buy him if you're going to keep playing a guy you tried to sell in Scott McTominay? Didn't play him last year. So you don't rate him. And then the Varane thing, he goes, we haven't had a falling out. He said that there's been no falling out. So what that means is, John said, yeah, well, he's lying, obviously. Okay, yeah, I agree. But if he wants us to take him on that he was telling the truth, that means I lose respect for him because that means he thinks Maguire, Evans and Lindelof are better centre-backs than Varane. And that means he's the only person in the world that thinks that, other than Maguire's mum. I agree, with what Rob is saying, they need Varane, Casemiro back. But if he's falling out with Varane, he'll probably do this to Casemiro. And the way I see it is don't fall out with these. Casemiro and Varane have 9 Champions Leagues between them. Just them. Don't go falling out with 2 guys that are serial winners. Go fall out with Maguire, who's been relegated by Hull. Fall out with McTominay, who can't get a pass in the centre of the park. Fall out with these guys that have got weak mentalities and keep getting managers sacked. Like they've had Ole sacked, Rangnick sacked, Van Gaal. Some of them have been there since Van Gaal. They got Van Gaal sacked. Jose bought Lindelof. Like, regardless you like him, whatever, he was part of getting Jose sacked, Van Gaal sacked. You know, like, I don't know. Ten Hag on the radar to coach Holland when Koeman fails. Yeah, it's too. It's listen. I back him, but I just think he has to change it. He can't keep going like this. It's Newcastle next week's not going to be like this. Not going to be like Everton away. It's not going to be like Fulham, Burnley. Yeah, exactly. Ranić killing it as Austria coach. They're playing the best football. But when he told the Man United players, we want to play like this, they all kicked up a fuss, chucked the toys out the pram because they're prima donnas, and got him the sack. And he said Man United needs open heart surgery because, and that's why I don't get, Erik ten Hag wants to play a high line. He's picking Maguire and Lindelof, who I'm quicker than when I'm walking. Like, makes no sense to me. I think what he's got to do is, Martinez isn't there. He has to pick Luke Shaw left centre back like he did last year with Varane. Put Reguilon left back. Aaron Wan-Bissaka or Delo right back. And then, listen, Kobe, the other positive was Kobe Mainu was excellent. 18 years old, defensive midfield from the youth academy. Had a real great game. That, you know, Onana, him and Onana were the best two players. Onana went from being a laughingstock to having equal most clean sheets in the league. So, yeah. Listen, and the media, they make me sick. Like oh, look how good, you know, Varane, all this. I mean, about Maguire. That none of them say, yeah, but wait till we play some real teams. You know, we're playing teams that Man United should look at and beat them, really. Like, no offense to them, but, you know, your Lutons, your Burnleys, like, these guys are teams that are getting relegated. Mbappe wants to go to Liverpool, 80 million signing on fee, 30.7 million a year in wages. And Gamble says, yeah, Reeves, that ain't happening. I don't think it's happening either. I don't think he'd go to Liverpool. But, you know. And I agree. And I think Mainu did that on the weekend. Rob, for such a young player, he was dropping deep, going into a centre-back when the centre-backs would spread. He was going to get the ball, doing all that. But that begs onto the point I'm saying, Rob, is why did he buy Amrabat when he needed a midfielder? If he's not the midfielder to do that, why didn't he get a midfielder that does that? And then if Amrabat is the one that he wants to do that, why isn't he picking him and picking Scott McTominay, who can't control the ball? So, more likely than Mbappe becoming the Prime Minister and President of France than going to Liverpool. Yeah, I know, newspapers spinning it. Yeah, you know what the papers are like. It's true. But yeah, that was the last game of the round, guys. United won, but listen, it wasn't comprehensive, even though it was 3-0. 29 shots to 9, just get that. And listen, I thought Martial played real well. He got the penalty, scored a real nice goal. Don't take anything from Garnacho. Absolute cracker of a Premier League goal. And I agree with John that all the stuff, Sir Jim Rat, he's not even a sir. I said to John, stop calling him sir. He's just Jim Rat to me because he is a rat. He's an enemy of the club already, you know. And what I don't get is they say you're not meant to be able to buy, they meant to make a rule, the Glazer rule, to not be able to buy a club on leverage. But isn't he buying his 25% stake on leverage? I mean, I'm no finance guy. Rob is. But yeah. Before we get onto the fixtures, Rob's red card. What's Rob's red card of the week? I'll bring up the graphic. There we go. What's Rob's red card of the week? Also, on a small side of news, second division play for Adelaide City, KP. They'll get picked apart of the second division. Adelaide City are not in it. They're not. They haven't put their hand up. There's 10 teams. I think it's 5 from Victoria, 5 from New South Wales, and it's a lot of the like the old dogs, you know, Marconi's, things like that. South Melbourne are back. Yeah, Adelaide City not in it. So Rob's red card is you forwards can be held accountable for costing the team points. Stay back at training. Practice. Yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, of course, he was terrible. Yeah, it's true. But don't ever hold me accountable. If we don't win, it's always the defender's fault. It's never my fault. It's never the forward's fault. It's never the forward. It's always the defender's fault. Or the goalkeeper. Never the forwards. They had 2 to 4 teams by 24 before the debut season. Yeah, I don't think City have got the infrastructure, man. Listen, I don't know what Rob thinks. I don't think City have the infrastructure to do it. I'm not sure whether because they can't play at their ground, which is the old Ram Park. They would have to try rent Highmarsh and play in conjunction with Adelaide United. I don't think they got the money to do that. Like my dad was saying, the rent would be astronomical unless the government says they'll let them have it instead of renting it, for their games. I don't see it being Adelaide City, not now, but yeah, 3 headers from 6-yard, mate, would have scored. Yeah, Calvert-Lewin was terrible. Terrible. But United won 3-0, so he was really good. But yeah, we'll look at the fixtures quickly before I go. A new A-League Div 2 teams are Victoria. Yeah, that's what he's saying, but he's saying maybe they're going to add another couple, and I just don't think they have the infrastructure for it, City. Like, they're not, because they're not going to let them play at Highmarsh for free. So, Marconi, coming in, South Melbourne coming back in, Brisbane maybe. I think, who's going to come in, I think in a couple of years? Croatia, Melbourne Knights. They've said that. They might come in a couple of years, which they'd have the infrastructure for it. They're a massive NSL team. So they'll be, good evening, KP. Word is Sunshine Coast, Melbourne Knights, Adelaide City, Brisbane City. Yeah, listen, I don't know. Adelaide City are going to have to make a deal. I know Knights will definitely be Melbourne Knights. Adelaide City are going to have to make some sort of deal where they don't hire Highmarsh because they won't have the money for that. They're going to have to make a deal that the government let them have Highmarsh to play there. If that's what Adelaide United do, I don't know all the ins and outs of that. My dad would know a bit more about that. Rob probably does, but yeah, that's a good point too. Adelaide United are not even getting crowds, so they would lose all the Italians if Adelaide City came back in. They don't have this. Yeah, I said that. I said the one thing they could do is play at Martin. Would Blue Eagles look after them like that, Rob? I don't know. You know what Rep is like. Giordano, he's my dad's told me he's struggled to deal with that guy. He's very egotistical. Would he help Adelaide City out by letting them play at Martin where they've got a pitch definitely to play? Like, they get away with playing there. They got one grandstand, that's fine. And then maybe if they got promoted, they could start playing at Highmarsh. But I don't think Rep would look after them like that. Rep is extremely difficult if you ever have this. Yeah. There, you coached there. My dad's had committee meetings with him, like federation meetings. West Adelaide would never get it, man. They don't have a pitch. They don't have a ground, unfortunately. Those clubs need $500K up front security and then further $500K for registration, running costs so the league can be completed. I've heard some clubs like APL Lockhart are still raising funds. Yeah, there you go. Listen, Adelaide City got the pokies with the Oakton Hotel behind them, so they've got some money there. The travel for the. Oh, I thought he meant West Adelaide. Sorry, Western Australia. I mean, yeah, the travel too. That I don't know. It's really hard. But I think unless Rep Giordano looks after City and lets them play at Martin, I mean, maybe they could play at the underground Ram Park while they're in the second div. Maybe they could. They could play at Ram Park while they're in the second div. They get the Clipsal seats back there like they do when they usually get the Clipsal seats there. They've got a stand, but there's no cover. People are not going to like that. I would think maybe they'd have to play at Martin, but I don't think Rep will. But listen, who knows? Who knows? I don't know. He might have been an Adelaide City fan when they were in the NSL Rep, and just started his own Azuri. I don't know. With all that SA talent and second team would be needed, I imagine. Yeah, I don't know. Unless A-League separates to 2 divisions, e.g. East, West, or not. It's sort of like the basketball, East Coast, West Coast, you'd say. But yeah, in saying that, we'll get on to the fixtures. So there is one game left in the round. Fulham at home to Wolves. That is in the morning. I think I tipped Wolves. Listen, I'm thinking about changing my tip. I don't know. But I'm going to stick with that for now. Be an interesting game. But yeah, Rob's saying Wolves by 3 goals. There you go. So, I don't know. Auckland expands as well in the A-League. Yeah, it's interesting to talk about. But just like other moments said, definitely Croatia will come back in. Melbourne Knights, they'll come in. Maybe Brisbane City. It's going to be hard, the Adelaide team. But listen, I think we should have two. Adelaide City are the biggest club, aren't they? Like, they're definitely the biggest club. We all, us people from here know that. But Martin have the Adelaide Blue Eagles have the best facility for the second div. And then, like I said, if they get promoted, they could strike a deal with the government to play in Highmarsh. But yeah, in saying that, let's look at the results here. Let's see what everyone thinks. So then Wolves have got the shortest turnaround. They keep doing this, the league. They did this with Tottenham. So then Wolves have got to come Saturday night, Sunday morning, again, go to Arsenal. So they're in London, twice in 6-7 days. And then Brentford, Luton, Burnley, Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest, Everton. Huge game for us, United, away at St. James Park. Listen, I don't know. We'll see what United do midweek with Galatasaray. That's a massive game. Then Bournemouth, Villa. You see Villa getting the points. Chelsea, Brighton. That's a huge game for Chelsea. Liverpool, Fulham. You imagine Liverpool crush them. West Ham, Palace. Then the final game, City, Spurs. So some really big games there. United, Newcastle's huge. Chelsea, Brighton's huge. City, Tottenham is big. Yeah. I played in the annual Australian Croatian tournament. Crowds were insane. Our little Weiler team, Brisbane and Sydney, Croatia, to win it. There you go. Oh, yeah. The Croatia's here is massive too. And in the 70s, they were huge. One of the best teams, Adelaide, Croatia. As you know, Raiders now. They were... And they got a good facility too. If they had seats, they could do it, but they don't have the money for it. That's the problem. It's definitely City. Like, it's definitely City. It's no one. I remember watching Melbourne Knights all the time. Viduka, I remember watching him still. I remember him played this game against West Adelaide and he hit the crossbar. The crossbar still rattling. It was crazy. And he was a kid. I was a kid, so he was a kid, because he's only, whatever he is, 4 years, 5 years older than me, maybe. I don't know. But he was young. And I'm saying the Croatian teams Australia-wide will get enough support for A-League. Yes, they do have money. Yeah, I know that. They do have money behind them, just like how they built the complex here. But they would get support. Yeah, 100% they would. They'd definitely get the support. It's just where would they base? You'd think if Melbourne, Croatia come in, every Croatia, like from Adelaide, so Adelaide United will lose fans that are Croatians. They'll support Melbourne. Like now they're going to lose Greek fans because I guarantee you Greeks are going to support South Melbourne that are coming back in. Marconi are Italians. Are Italians going to support them? They got a huge following anyway, as we know, as NSL fans. They've always were big. Who is the only team left over that's in A-League that was an NSL team? Perth Glory were an NSL team. Who else were? Because, there's Melbourne Victory, Melbourne... Adelaide United, obviously not. I don't know. Whatever team gets selected in the NST, in National Second Tier, they will need membership-based minimum 3-4K plus 1 million at the ready, plus main sponsor around 250K. So whoever you guys think over there in SA can do it. Yeah, Kepa, you're right. Even after all that culture work, birds of feather will flock together. Of course. 100% they will. All the Croatians here will support Melbourne. All the Greeks here will support... Chris C said it. He goes, I'm going to support South Melbourne now. They're going to support them because they're South Melbourne Hellas. I agree with that. It's Adelaide City at the moment. It's no one here, but Adelaide City has the money to do it. It's just about their pitch. Do they keep Adelaide City in the NPL as their seconds team, like they used to do when they were National League? I got this info from South Melbourne President interview last night. Yeah, that's spot on. Adelaide City, that's it. They're the only team. They've got the Oakton Hotel. They've got Pokies behind them. They're the biggest club here. And no one can argue that. It's just about where they play. They're not going to play... They could play the first year at where they play, Ram Park, because they get the Clipsal seats and that. But if they got promoted to the A-League, they'd have to play at High Marsh, I believe. But other than that, Adelaide City do. I think Adelaide City it will be then. If they're saying Adelaide City, that means that they're putting their hands up to do it, and it's going to be them. So that they wouldn't be saying it if there was no, there's no smoke without fire. For them to be saying it, it means it's going to be Melbourne, Croatia, Adelaide City, like you said, and that'll be them. Floria, Athena, Stirling, Macedonia, Perth, Azuri, big club in Perth. Stirling, Macedonia. What Macedonia? Are they the North Macedonians? Or are they the Slavics? They're not Greeks. Adelaide was mentioned teams with good youth, women's program, Cricket 2, that's for development and being able to... GT's laughing. I don't know. I've never heard of them. Like, are they from their GT? Perth, Azuri. No, so there's because there's a big North Macedonian community in Perth, isn't there? Don't let them in. No way. No. Could you imagine the game when they play South Melbourne? If Stirling, Macedonia played South Melbourne, Puregamoto, that'd be massive. GT's cracking out. That'd be huge. Perth, Azuri. Yeah, listen, we've got Adelaide Blue Eagles here, which are Adelaide Azuri, but they're not. They've got the best facility for the second div, but Adelaide City are bigger than them. It'll be Adelaide City. I'm telling you, it's Adelaide City. Will you support a different team if one of them went in? If Floreat Athena went in, GT, would you support them or Perth Glory? Because you go to Perth Glory games now. I do remember Preston Macedonia, yeah. Who would you follow? Would you follow Athena? Would you follow... You're not going to follow Azuri, are you? You're not going to follow Macedonia. Unless they're your Macedonia. You're not going to go with them at all. You know what? Interesting, that poll that I made. Let's have a look. 50-50 it finished. I don't know how many people voted saying that it was better than Rooney's. I think you got to put Rooney's in context. It was against Man City. It was the top two teams. It wasn't, that was against Everton. And Rooney's he had less time to adjust because it took a deflection on the cross. But listen, both. Yeah, so you'd support them instead of Perth. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what Rob said. Like, everyone will stick together. Like, all the Greeks, wherever, they're going to support South Melbourne now. Like, you will probably support South Melbourne. And you're not even from Melbourne. Because there's a Greek team there now. You know what I mean? Like, listen, my dad, like, we're Cypriots, and my dad, we supported West Adelaide, but I don't think my dad probably go for South Melbourne, to be honest. You know what? Thinking about it. Clubs will need annual revenues of 4 million, meeting those financial demands critical in selection. Strong football clubs able to raise money and interest, yeah. And City have got the Oakton Hotel at the moment. They have got a hotel there with pokies. It just says it all, doesn't it? They, and they were obviously an NSL club to begin with. They're an ex-NSL team. I mean, they've won so many titles at the, local level here now. It's them, isn't it? It's them. And it's interesting that GT put that, because I've never heard of those Perth teams. I remember Preston Macedonia, but I've never heard, obviously, of Perth Azuri and Floreat Athena and all that. Stirling, whatever they're called. Never heard of them. Disgrace. They shouldn't be able to call themselves that. Unbelievable. But yeah, interesting takes there from either moment. Where was that interview? Did he do a live interview? ETM, the president? Where did you get access to that? Interesting. I'd like to hear that. Is it were you there? Or is it on 3XY Radio Hellas? Okay. I wonder if they had to put it on Radio Ena here. Would they have put it on Radio Ena or the Doriforo here? They might have, but they may have. I might have to ask my dad. Greek Media Group. Yeah, I know. Yeah. See, we've got two here. We've got Radio Ena and the Doriforo. Maybe he was on there, maybe. I don't know. We've got to see. We'd have to see. But yeah, that's good. Interesting. Interesting, guys. But in saying that, was a real good show. We've got some big games to look forward to this week. We've got Champions League midweek as well. I'll be back next week, I believe, with me and Rob. If Rob's free, I think he is. And the week after, John said he's going to be back. He's got after his night shifts, so in 2 weeks' time. So we've got them ready. We don't have another international break for ages now, so we've got so many games. We should be having a show every week. We'll be doing watch-alongs when we can. It's interesting times for many teams. Arsenal sit at top. You know, Tottenham have tumbled a bit. Hopefully Ange can pick it up this week against City, but who knows? It'll be interesting to see how everyone tips. I liked it a lot the moment. Just watched it. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I think he's showing, I've always said it to people, he's a lot smarter than people think. You know, I was saying it to Jess, to my partner, that people have always labelled him as like dumb and stuff because of his voice, you know, the bit of the high-pitched voice and that, but he's actually a very smart guy. And I think you can tell by watching that, you know, and I liked him. It showed, obviously I'm a United fan, it really showed the level of Alex Ferguson. You know, like when that stuff happened with Beckham, first thing, you know, Alex Ferguson rings him and he says it, and he goes, you know, don't worry, son, I'll look after you. You know, we'll look after you. Man United, turn your phone off. And they went siege mentality, and he even said it, you know, he goes, he protected me like a father. He goes, and on the pitch, he goes, it was a catalyst. He goes, anytime I got booed, anyone came near me, he goes, you know, Roy Keane, Yap Stam, everyone, they'll going to kill people. Like, it was sort of a catalyst for us to win the treble, you know, the way that everyone treated him. And I don't think they realised that, the fans and that they got on to him so hard. And I've heard Glenn Hoddle come out now and he's like, yeah, rest in peace, Terry. You know, ex-Terry Venables, that's true. I forgot about that. Ex-Socceroos coach as well. But yeah, great of their game. You know, gave a lot to the English game. But yeah, it showed, you know, that he, you know, I think if Beckham played in today's game, he may have been even better. Like, you know, talking about him, he played right midfield and he was sort of like very similar to Kevin De Bruyne. You know, now with a 4-3-3 and not a 4-4-2, he'd play that role, you know, in the three centre mids. Alia says, I'm impressed how elite McTominay's composure is and his passing range. Alia's haven't poking me. He's poking me. I know it. You know, he's poking me. Beckham was very smart. He gravitated to posh bars and it was actually this attraction that gave him this sustenance for life beyond football. And yeah, 100%. He is. He's switched on. You can tell he is. Like, and he learned so many things from Sir Alex. Sir Alex always says, you know, he goes, you go to the parents for the player. You know, I've read his book. He says that you go to the player, you know, through the mother, through the father, whatever. What did David Beckham say? How did he get Messi at Inter Miami? Oh, I didn't talk to Messi. I went and spoke to his dad. Got his dad on side. Who's there? Gets Messi in the mirror. Who thought Messi was going to play for Inter Miami? I don't care that he's 36. No one thought that. You know, Ali's talking about McTominay's interview technique, every question, but nah, he's bang average. Well, Alia's here now, so I'll touch on it a bit again. Alia, we won 3-0, but Everton had 29 shots to 9. I said this to John. You're there probably sitting with him. Eric Ten Hag, I want to back him so bad, but he bought Amrabat, whether you rate him or not, he bought him, and he's still playing McTominay ahead of him. He's also playing Maguire, Evans, and Lindelof ahead of Varane. And then he tells us there's no issue. So if there's no issue, that means he rates them higher than Varane, which makes him stupid. So, I don't know. 29 shots to 9 against Everton. If he plays that same team against Newcastle next week, we're done for. And I truly believe if he plays that same team in 2 weeks' time at Anfield, he'll get the sack before the transfer window. But he'll get the sack before Christmas. I truly believe if he plays that team, and I hope he proves me wrong, I hope he plays that and we beat them. But I truly believe he picks that team against Liverpool, he's done. Most informed team in the Prem. But like I said, we've beaten Luton, Sheffield United, Fulham, Burnley, Everton. They're all in the bottom 5. All of them. And we've all beat them all 1-0, except for Everton, who had more possession than us and 29 shots to 9. So why are we not playing like he did at Ajax? Exactly. And if it makes no sense to me. Like he wants to play a high line earlier, but he's playing Maguire and Lindelof, who are slower than John. You know what I mean? Like, it's so dumb. So dumb. So, and then you're playing a midfielder who we know a couple of weeks ago had 9 passes, 9 touches he had in a 90-minute game in McTominay. Mainu had more than like 50 touches in whatever in 70 minutes last night. So, what's treble? The opposite to base. I like that one. Well done, at the moment. A Tottenham fan is the only fan that would ever ask what a treble is, man, because they'll never get close to it. That's why. Exactly. Something Tottenham will never have. So, to be fair, only 2 English teams have ever got it, and they're both from Manchester. But in saying that, great show, guys. Thank you, everyone. You will absolutely never win the treble, I don't think. Big man. But it was a great show. We'll be back on Wednesday, I believe. Me, Chris, and the other Chris. Maybe some gaming as well this week. Then there may be a watch along this week. I don't know. I've got to look at the times. Me and Rob on Monday. Then John back the week after. But yeah, good weeks coming up, guys. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. It was really good. I'll read these last few chats. One day, guy says, no. Spurs would be lucky to get a single, never mind a treble. Absolutely. Might as well put my Spurs membership in the bin. Nah, you can just... The treble only 2 teams in English history have ever won the treble. Man United and Man City last year. And I think there's only, listen, I don't know, but I think it's only 8 teams or something ever in the history of football have won their trebles. I think Bayern Munich have won it, Man United have won it, Man City have won it, Ajax have won it. I believe Celtic may have won it. And that was back in the day, they won the European Cup. I think Ajax might have done it twice, to be honest, but AC Milan maybe, I think as well, was one of them. And that's just off the top of my head. It's such a rare thing, and it's, Tottenham have got to get in Europe to do it for. That's the thing, it's such a rare thing. It's such a rare feat. It just does not happen often. But in saying that, thank you so much, guys. It was a great show. Thanks everyone for coming. Big man, Guy, down the bottom will never see a premiership. Yeah, but they know that they support their teams for what they are. They don't have the money. They don't have the things behind them. See you, man. Thanks for coming in earlier. Anyone that's there, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. It was a great show. Oh, the Wild. Got to do the Wild, Reeves. Wild. Take it easy, boys.